Keys to Successful Relationships Part 2. If you didn't catch yesterday's video, you can go back and have a look. I was talking about 3 of the really key things in relationships, making sure relationships are successful, being in having aligned values, not having a lot of negative anchors, building a lot of positive anchors, and also fulfilling strategies. And today I'm going to talk a little bit about masculine and feminine energy. Now, this is a fascinating topic and it's really useful. I'm by no means an absolute expert. Like I've said before, I'm not a relationship coach, but it's important to at least have some kind of knowledge about relationships and what's important in them. So when we talk about masculine and feminine energy, everyone has a primary core of either masculine or feminine, and although generally it might be the male's masculine and the female's feminine, it's not always the case. And of course you can have same-sex relationships where there'll still be masculine and feminine, because we need, in a relationship or in a union, there needs to be polarities. So it's like a magnet. Okay, you need to have the positive and the negative, and if you've got, you got it the wrong way around, you're going to repel each other instead of, attracting to each other. So it's important that you understand how to remain in your masculine, or how to create, a lot of really positive energy in your relationship. So if we have a look at the masculine to start with, so masculine energy tends to be very directional, and they're goal oriented and have really focused energy, and they're driven, and the masculine needs to really own the truth of who they are. Whereas the feminine is more flowing and open and playful and wild and radiant. And so the feminine needs to be open. And so when we have the masculine and feminine in their core like that, they're very attracted to each other. Now, what we can sometimes find is that through over time and whatever's happened, that we can get into our opposites, and this is when trouble starts to happen. So, one of the things I see, especially with my female business owners that I work with, is that often when you're in business, working in business, you can get very much into your masculine and be goal oriented and very focused and directional and leading the way and doing a lot of those things. And that's all fine, because we've all got the balance of masculine and feminine within us. But when we come back into the relationship, we need to be able to set more into our feminine and be more surrendered and open and free and those kinds of things. So what we can see sometimes, the things of where this falls down, is that if the feminine is overly controlling or critical of the masculine, this can be a real problem, because the masculine wants to be free. They want freedom, and they want to be appreciated and admired. And so when the feminine is just critical all the time of the masculine can kind of shut down or withdraw. And if the masculine withdraws or goes and hides in his man cave, or goes, and just hides away or takes off all the time, well, then that's no good for the feminine, and the feminine will shut down. So the masculine needs to be really strong and being able to weather the storm. He's able to weather the emotions of the feminine, and be doing that in a very loving and caring way as well. So, sometimes people make the mistake of saying, well, the masculine's all like, just hanging out with the boys and footy and cars and drinking and all that kind of stuff and swearing, and that's not necessarily masculine. The masculine owns himself. He knows the truth in himself, and he is a very stable rock for the feminine. And when the feminine feels that she's got the stable rock there in the masculine, and that she feels safe and secure, that she can then be more open and playful. And it's the open and playful feminine that is really attractive to the masculine. So this is really important, is to look at this in your relationships. Are there ways where you are shutting down or you're withdrawing? Because, this is one of the things that men can really do, and the feminine needs to have attention. She needs to be having a lot of attention and being seen and being heard. So when the masculine withdraws, well, then she shuts down as well. So when we go through these different stages, whether it's the man's being controlled or criticized or whatever, and he shuts down, or if he fires up and starts yelling, and then it's too much feminine energy going backwards and forwards, then we lose the polarities. And this is where relationship starts to break down. So just check on a couple of those things. Are you in your feminine? Are you feeling, safe and secure in your relationship? Do you feel like you're being open and free and playful and, really being sensual in your own feminine essence? And if you're masculine, are you really owning up to yourself and being clear about who you are and what you want, and being that rock and making decisions and holding that space for the feminine, and, being able to do that, and as well as creating your own freedom as well. So these are some things just to check in on in your relationships. They're things that you can work on. They're things that you can, bring in for yourself. If you're in the feminine and you feel as though you need to do more to bring in your feminine energy, things like meditation and dance and self-hypnosis and things like that will really help. If you feel like you're masculine and you need to come more into your masculine, things like, working out or doing archery or, really firing up those kind of masculine energies in that way will help as well. And of course, when you get it right, you can come together in a beautiful, very, very positively charged union where everyone feels like they're in where they should be. So hopefully that is helpful for you. It's just a really short overview of it, but it's worth understanding some of this, and it will definitely add to your relationships. I'll speak to you tomorrow.